Hello, my name is Juan Carballal, and you're listening to Eurojuegos Buenos Aires. This is an Infantry campaign playtest after-action report of the Foxhole tabletop RPG role-playing game. This happened in 25th of December 2025. We've got a DM, a campaign master, plus 2 players. They were using 2 squads, one for each player. We didn't apply no weather rules, and nighttime, for your reference, is from 2000 hours to 5 in the morning. So the starting day is the day 4. You usually roll a d6 for that. It's the early morning shift that goes from 500 hours to 800 hours. And it starts with the whole Warden Infantry campaign starts with this short campaign script that says, your squad arrives at the front on a large train from the north to join the Warden army fighting to expel the colonial invaders from the lands of Cauda. Cattail Station is the capital town of the Basin Sionach region in the Northern Territories. It is mid-autumn and the morning is chilly. The train station is busy with the train cars being unloaded and everyone scrambling to where they are supposed to be. You should report to the town-based commanding officer. Now, after that intro, players play their first shift, that is day 4, 500 hours. Squad reach Cattail Station, large train station, that is CTS LTR in the radio codes of the game. Squad 1 crosses into the town hall base. It's CTS THQ to report. The squad leader meets the regional commander, has to roll a d6 to see the commander rank, and turns out a 6, so it is a field marshal. That is a level 18, the highest rank. Meaning this town hall base, not now, but it will, as the game progresses, be a very, very important place. That is why it has a very high level regional commander. Squad 1 arrives at, receives the Basin Sionach region map handout. And you have a campaign script here in which the squads receive orders to gear up. Gear up is the name of the chapter. The 5th chapter in the campaign is Gear Up. They receive orders to gear up, to gather salvage at Cess or the Den, which are 2 adjacent areas they can see on the map, and then refine that salvage into materials in the refinery at Lamplight, which is another area. Then use those materials to acquire equipment in whatever infantry kit factory is already active. One thing in the game is that not everything is built from the first aid. There is a mechanic on the game that builds all the facilities as the game progresses, as the campaign progresses. And they need to report back in 3 days, so the clock is ticking. Now here I list a to-do for the game development is to make these orders handout. I think it's cool. Anyway, Squad 2 tries to be useful because it has nothing to do. One of the things encouraged by the game is to be useful. And he tries to be useful by helping load the logistic trucks with the supplies that came on the train. And here the player had the choice to help the cranes, the train itself being unloaded or the trucks being loaded. He chooses to help the guys load the trucks. So that is a logistics truck that is a 19.1 skill. And he makes a tool skill check and rolls a 10 with a d20 and a 3 with the d6. This game has 2 dice. It uses 2 dice because the players they are controlling a whole squad of guys, of six guys. So they rolled the d20 to make the check and the d6 to see which guy modifiers apply to the roll. You'll see it as we go on. With a roll of 10 and 3, the task is completed and no modifiers apply because Squaddy 3 does not have any modifiers in the truck's logistics truck skill. It could have turned out that the guy, the particular guy, Squaddy 3, was particularly bad at loading trucks. So it could have gained a negative penalty, a negative modifier to their skill rolls. Or it could have turned out that the Squaddy 3 was actually good at that. If he had rolled more than 15 with his d20, it would have gained a positive modifier. But these guys turned out to be not particularly bad or good at it. So they don't gain any modifiers. But the gist is that whatever you do, you roll a check, and you may get from that check a modifier, meaning you're particularly good or particularly bad at what you're doing. And that builds up, as time progresses, your character. Your characters start with a blank character sheet, and as they do stuff, they gain modifiers and start completing that character sheet, which is a squad character sheet, the 6 guys. So that was the first turn. And the second turn, this is day 4, it's 800 hours. Squads march east to the local trucks garage, that is CTS TRG. And squad leaders meet the site handler. So here squad leader 1 rolls a production check for the trucks garage to see what the guys at the trucks garage are up to. They roll a 5 and they apply a +1 Lance Corporal rank modifier, because the starting guys, starting squad leaders are Lance Corporal, which is the lowest rank. So with a modifier roll of 6 means the trucks garage is producing dune transport logistics truck. And here the squads have the option to acquire those dune transports because they have orders to get a truck garage from the field marshal, or they may queue production, meaning, well, this day you are producing dune transports, but we need you to produce us a dune load lugger, which is a resource truck for tomorrow. But the squads decide to take the dune transports. Both squads take the dune transport. This decision is made individually. And for their reference, players get their truck card. The game comes with like 320 cards. Yeah, you heard that right. It's like 320 reference cards. They get the card for the dune transport that shows how much the unit costs to be built, where it is built, and what abilities the vehicle has, what type of fuel does it consume. In the third turn, this is day 4, 1100 hours, squad arrives to Lamplight, that is an adjacent region to where they came, regional area, sorry. Lamplight radio code is LAM, and here they make a new route check because it's the first time they enter this new area. So squad 1 checks awareness navigation skill. That's a 3.1 in the skill list, and rolls a 9, which is okay. The guys didn't roll a d6, and in my opinion, probably should have been a trucks logistics trucks skill, because this is the first drive check. This is the first time they drive a vehicle, so you need to know whether they are good at it or not. And probably both squads should have made that first drive check. But anyways, this is how it played at that time. They make fuel checks. That is a way the game has to control whether the fuel is expended. The units start with a full fuel tank, and squads, anytime they move from one area to another, they roll a d6. On a roll of 1, a third of the fuel tank is expended. So as not to micromanage how many liters of fuel they have or which distance they travel. They just roll a d6, and if they roll a 1, they lose a third of their fuel tank, meaning that normally vehicles have a range of 18 areas before needing to refuel. Squad 1 rolls a fuel check. He rolls a 5, they are okay. Squad 2 rolls a fuel check for their truck. They roll a 4, they are okay. In the next turn, that is day 4, 1400 hours, squads drive to the den. The den, it's another area. They need to go through lamplight to reach the den. The radio code for the den is DEN, den. And squad 1 fuel checks. Okay, I guess I don't have the role reported. Squad 2 fuel checks, and I guess okay also. Squads cross the bunker base at the den. They have a bunker base in the limit between lamplight and the den. The den bunker base radio code is DEN BHQ. That's DEN BHQ. They have a checkpoint at the frontier of these two areas. They cross it with orders and during daylight, so they are okay. They may have been stopped or asked to check if they don't have orders or they are coming at night. But they're fine now. Squads arrive at the dock at local salvage field at the den. That is DENSAL in radio code. The local salvage field. To do, I have a note here. I need to adjust the campaign map. The salvage field is not on the road. It's only accessible by small train, which is not ideal for the tutorial. So I may switch between the salvage mine and the salvage field in the campaign map. But that's a note for me. In the next turn, day 4, 1700 hours, squads learn that moving salvage by crate is not efficient. They don't have a resource truck, a dump truck, but they have a logistic truck that can only carry cargo by crates, but that requires crating the salvage, which is not really efficient. So Squad 1 visits the local construction yard. That is DENCOY in radio code. And here, note, the campaign master is allowing upgraded construction yard to be already built. So the game master, to follow the player plans, does not require a roll to see whether the construction yard is already built. So Squad 1 checks for the construction yard production on an upgraded construction yard. The squad leader rolls a 19, the player rolls a 19, plus 1 for its rank, the officer rank of Lance Corporal. So that's a 20. And the construction yard has a rooster junk wagon, which required a roll of 11 or more available. So Squad 1 uses the order, plus having rolled a 20, to acquire the rooster junk wagon with the order they have from the field marshal. Meanwhile, Squad 2 gathers salvage And to do so, in the salvage field, to do so, they use the salvage field card to make a check and rolls a 9 and a 6, a 9 on the d20 and a 6 on the d6. So that gives them a muddy result, meaning the squad just gets muddy. And that means squaddy 6 gets a shocked health condition that gives that particular squaddy a -2 on his ability rolls. But they don't get no salvage. So it's the first time. They need to learn how to do that. That at the next turn, that is day 4, 2000 hours, Squad 1 drives to the local salvage field and starts long rests. Squads need to rest for 3 shifts, that is 9 hours, during the day. The day is comprised of 8 shifts, 3-hour shifts, and of those 8 shifts, they need to rest for 3 at least. When they make a long rest, which is 2 shifts on consecutively, they gain some health bonus. They gain the opportunity to improve their health and remove these shocked penalties. So Squad 1 starts a long rest. They make a garrison skill check to prepare the accommodations, and the player rolls an 11 and a 5. 11 means the check is passed, so they get a health bonus if they end their long rest unperturbed. Squad 2 also starts a long rest at the salvage field, makes a garrison skill checks, and rolls a 6 and a 6. It means that the check is not passed, but it doesn't apply the health bonus. I mean, they rest, but they don't recuperate. So on the next turn, that is day 4, 2300 hours, Squad 1 is long resting. They roll a d6, roll a 5, so Squad 5 gains a happy status. He was healthy, he had no shock condition to be removed, so they gain a happy +2 status that gives the Squad a +2 modifier on their actions the next day. And Squad 2 makes a long rest without any health bonuses. That is the first day. Day 5 starts at 200 hours. So they wake up early. Squad 1 gathers salvage. They check on the salvage field card, and the player rolls a 15 +1 because they have a trailer, a resource trailer that gives them a +1 modifier, and they roll a 2 on the d6. So the result is the salvage was gathered. They have +1 salvage in their inventory, and because they roll a 16, the local reputation gets a boost. They have a +3 reputation boost. I mean, not only they are good at it, but they make friends with the local infantry squad in charge of the salvage field, which is good. The reputation is quite a currency, a resource the players need to manage in this game. Squad 2 also gathers salvage, and they check on the salvage field card. They roll a 17, which is very good. They get a +1 for the trailer, and they roll a 2 on the d6. So the salvage field is gathered. They gain another load of salvage, and their local reputation is also boosted by +3. Squads seem to be quite good at scrapping. Here I have to do my notes is that the campaign master didn't apply a nighttime penalty, which is not okay. They are working in the dark on an open field, and nighttime penalties but the nighttime penalties are not specified in the version 18 of the rules, so that was my mistake. And Squad 2 received the trailer bonus, meaning both squad got the trailer bonus, not just Squad 1, which had the trailer on the track, which is okay, but simultaneous action bonus are also not specified in the version 18 of the rules, so I need to add those. And the salvage field card does not specify assigning tool, scrapping, skill modifiers, meaning those guys should have gained a bonus in their scrapping skill with a roll of 15 and 17 each. So those are things I need to do myself to fix in the rules, in version 19 of the rules. So the next turn, that is day 5, 500 hours, Squad 1 drives to Lamplight with a load of salvage in their trailer. They make a fuel check, they roll a 1, meaning that their fuel tank, the fuel tank of Squad 1 truck, is at 2/3. Again, they forgot the truck's diesel can ability, which is an ability that those logistic trucks usually have, that increases the range. They need to check if the fuel exhaustion actually applies. That gives the logistics truck about 40% more range than a regular vehicle. Squad 1 does a short rest along the way, because a logistic truck is like a mobile garrison, but they forgot to roll a mobile garrison check. I mean, in these kinds of trucks, not the resources trucks, but these logistics covered trucks, you can rest, make the short rest. You need to check to gain, you need to perform a mobile garrison check to gain the short rest along the way while you're traveling, which may or may not apply. You may or may not save a shift short resting if you have these kinds of trucks and you make a mobile garrison check. In all this session, the CM forgot to check for mobile garrison while doing the short rest in transit, and they forgot to the truck's diesel can ability. So this will happen a lot. Anyway, Squad 2 explores the den. Exploring is something squads do a lot, because they don't know the whole map on which facility is built in which area, and they need to know where these facilities are, because they are gathering salvage to gain materials, to use those materials to acquire equipment, but they don't know where the facilities are, so they need to explore. Squad 2 explores the den and notes all active sites. Not all sites are built, so they need to know which sites are already built and active. They can participate in the building of those sites also, and they will, as we'll see later. Squad 2 notes all active sites. They know the medical factory, the light vehicles garage, plus an infantry kit factory and a small assembly station in construction. If you don't know about Foxhole, this infantry kits factory produces the guns, and the world structures, the world factories produce the ammunition. And the world structures start built, but they need to find out which infantry kit factories are active. And small assembly stations, they produce vehicles. So they might go for the vehicles, they might go for the guns. In any case, they will need the ammunition, but the ammunition factories are already built. So the infantry kit factory and the small assembly stations are in construction at the den, but they have a medical factory and a light vehicles garage. They field check, that is for 2, it's okay. They don't spend any fuel on that. On day 5, at 800 hours, Squad 1 loads the salvage at the Lamplight refinery, which is a very crowded place. The refinery is a world structure. It's a very large world structure with everyone going in and out of there with their with their cargo, so they need to make a machinery transfer check. They roll a 3 on the d20, which is bad, and a 4. The task is not completed. They didn't unload their salvage and queue the production. And Squatty 4 gets a shaken result, a health modifier, and gets a skill -2 modifier because they're bad at this. Squad 2 drives to Lamplight Refinery. Remember, they were doing the city tour of the den. And they fuel check with a 1, meaning their fuel tank on their truck is also at 2/3, and they forgot to try the truck's diesel can ability. On day 5, at 1100 hours, Squad 1 tries again to unload the salvage at Lamplight Refinery. They make a machinery transfer check, and they roll a 1. I gave them a +2 for the second try, and a 5 for the Squatty. The task was not completed. Squatty 5 is also shaken and gets a -2 modifier. So it seems like Squatty 1 is quite bad at logi. Squad 2 helps unload the salvage. They make a machinery transfer check with a 14 and a 4. The task with a 14 is completed, and Squad 1 gets mocked by Squad 2. And the fact that Squad 2, being Squad 1's older brother, helps with the mockery, And Squad 1 decides to quit Logi and assigns Squad Wagon, the junk wagon, to Squad 2. So you're good at this? Okay, take the junk wagon and you'll be doing the Logi. At this point, I should point out that one of the players is the overall commander of the force of both squads. Both squads retain a lot of independent decision making, but one squad is the overall commander for this particular chapter, and that is Squad 1. So it reassigns the junk wagon to Squad 2. Day 5 at 1400 hours, the Lamplight Refinery produces the first crate of PMATs from the salvage the squads brought. And in this case, we also have a resource load exhaustion check that is very similar to the fuel exhaustion check. They roll a d6, and if they roll a 1, the salvage is exhausted. But as long as they do not roll a 1, they may continue to use this salvage stockpile they have on their refinery. They roll a 6, so they are okay. Squad 1 explores Lamplight, the area, and notes all active sites. In here you have the refinery, a large train station, and a coal field that produces coal, which is another basic resource in the game, plus a heavy munitions factory, that is an HMF, and a field guns garage, that is an FGG in radio code. Both the heavy munitions factory and the field gun garage are in construction. They make a fuel check, okay, I guess, and Squad 2 drives to the den salvage field with the trailer. They make a fuel check of 6, they're okay. Squad 2 does a short rest along the way. And again, CM forgot to roll a mobile garrison check to grant the short rest while traveling. On day 5, at 1700 hours, the Lamplight Refinery produces the second crate of basic materials. The resource load exhaustion check is a 5, so it's okay. They still have a salvage stockpile. Squad 1 visits the Lamplight field gun garage, which is in construction, and uses the first crate of BMATs to help build the site, because players are interested in equipping a field gun, so they need the garage active. They check for tools building skill. They roll a 12 on the d20 and a 6. task is completed. So they actually helped build. And Squad 1 gets good reputation at the Lamplight Field Gun Garage. Having built a site grants you all kinds of bonuses that depend on the particular site you are building. In this case, well, overall they get a good reputation, meaning all roles in the site receive now a positive modifier of +3. But in case of field guns, they can produce guns without the ammunition, and maybe they get free repairs. There are a variety of bonuses for if you help build a site. And Squad learn about the small munitions factory at Stoic, which is an area they haven't explored yet, but the garage handler gives them that information, because they will need the 1270 ammo to operate a basic push gun. That is how field guns are called in the game, usually push guns, because two soldiers need to push the guns. They have wheels on them and they need to push them to the front. So they're called basic push guns. And the squads also learn about the heavy munitions factory at Lamplight. Well, they already had, but they learned that they will need a heavier caliber ammunition to operate the heavier push guns. On their side, Squad 2 loads the second salvage load at the Den salvage field and drives to the Lamplight refinery. They make a fuel check with the 2, they pass it. On day 5 at 2000 hours, Lamplight refinery production stops for the night, and Squad 1 visits the Lamplight heavy munitions factory, which is also in construction. They go on a construction frenzy. I'm guessing they want to acquire a heavier push gun, so they try to collaborate. They have to have both the field gun garage and the heavy munitions factory operational, and a good reputation on both to get a better discount or a better gun. Squad 1 uses the second BMAT crate to help build the site. They make a tool building check. They roll a 3 and a 2 for Squad 2. Task with the 3 is not completed. And Squad 2 gets a -2 skill in tools building and a shaken condition, which will give him a -2 in further checks. So it's not that simple. Just building and being popular. Squad 2 unloads the salvage at Lamplight Refinery with a machine transfer check of 19, and on Squad 3 the task is completed, and Squad 3 gets a skill +2, meaning Squad 2 has already 2 squaddies with a positive logistic modifier, so Squad 2 is becoming a good logistic squad. On day 5 at 2300 hours, Squad 1 takes a long rest at the Lamplight at the Lamplight Field Gun Garage. They make a garrison 3 check with 3 on the D20 and Squad 3. The task is not completed, so they do not get a health bonus. And Squad 3 gets a skill -2 and a shaken condition. That was a bad check. But as a note, the campaign master forgot to add the +3 local reputation modifier, meaning if they're just very good friends with the guys in the field guns garage, those guys would have helped the squad garrison pass the night on the site. So they should have gotten a +3 modifier. That would have made the check succeed with a 6, not a 3. So, sorry about that. Squad 2 takes a long rest at the Lamplight Refinery. They just arrived there with the second load of salvage. And they make a garrison check there. They roll a 15 and a 1 on the squaddy. Since they're the actor of the action is the squaddy 1, which is the squad leader, they get to apply the officer rank modifier, which is level 1. So they get a a modified result of 16. Squaddy 1, the squad leader, gets a +4 and a happy health condition. So now on the garrison check, no, they cannot get a +4. They get a +2. Garrison is a basic skill. The most you can get is a +2, and a happy health condition. Anyway, that was a good night's sleep. On day 6, at 200 hours, Squad 1 is long resting, and he didn't get a bonus. He should have, and he didn't. And Squad 2 is also long resting on an uneventful night, and the squad leader gets a happy health bonus for it. On day 6, at 500 hours, the Lamplight Refinery produces the 3rd crate of basic materials. They check for the resource load exhaustion. They roll a 6, which is okay. Squad 1 drives to Lamplight Heavy Munitions Factory to continue helping with the construction. They make another tools building check with a 3 on Squad 3. Since the Squad 3 already has a -2 in that skill, the roll is a 1. Task is not completed, and Squad 3, which was already shaken, gets a wounded condition. Squad 2 drives to the Lamplight Heavy Munitions Factory to help build the site. His little brother help his little brother. He makes a tool building check and rolls a 2, and the actor is Squad 3. So task is not completed, and Squad 2, Squad 3 gets a skill of -2 on tools building and a shaking condition. So apparently the heavy munitions factory is proving to be quite a challenge to build. They have failed 4 checks in a row. But the squads have already committed a crate of basic materials to the project, and they want to get something out of it. On day 6, at 800 hours, the Lamplight Refinery produces the 4th crate of basic materials. The resource load exhaustion check rolls a 1, meaning the first load of salvage is expended, but they have the second one. So they check the resource load exhaustion again, and they roll a 1 again. So they lose the second salvage load and have none remaining. Apparently, the second salvage load was just a pile of crap. Here, note, the campaign master checked exhaustion before production, and it should have checked after production or use, like all exhaustion checks. Same with the fuel. First you reach your destination, and then you check if the fuel tank is exhausted. Meaning that all loads or crates you have should give you at least 1 more use. Meaning if you have salvage, at least 1 BMAT you will be acquiring. I don't like the idea of you think you have salvage, but you have no salvage because the dice didn't give you some. So you use it 1, and then you check if it is expanded. This was not what happened here. Squad 1 continues helping build the Lamplight Heavy Munitions Factory with a tool building check of 17, finally, to an actor 3. So the thing is, Squad 3 is at this point wounded, so he gets a -4 to his skill rolls. He's shaken, so he gets a -2 to his skill rolls, and he has a -4 on the skill, the tools building check. So that adds up to a penalty of -10. But since they roll a 17, it's still good enough. Miraculously. So the task is finally completed. And since they are builders, they get reputation +3 at the Lamplight Heavy Munitions Factory. And Squad 2 loads the third crate of basic materials from the refinery and drives to Stoic. So they just have 2 crates of basic materials now. And I'm guessing they see there won't be enough time for them to get the materials needed to produce the heavy field gun. But let's see. Squad 2 loads the third crate of basic materials from the refinery and drives to Stoic, which is the adjacent area. A new route checks awareness navigation skill. The player rolls a 9 and a 2. A 9 is sufficient, so they arrive at Stoic and they make a fuel check with a 6. They pass. So day 6 at 1100 hours, Squad 1 drives to the den and takes a short rest while traveling. Again, forgot to check for mobile garrison. And they make a fuel check of 4, which is okay, so they reach the den without expending any fuel. Squad 2 visits Stoic, small munitions factory. A small munitions factory is a tip they got from the field guns garage that said the basic push gun used small munitions, 1270 millimeter munitions. Squad 2 uses the third crate of BMATs to acquire 1 crate of 1270 millimeters ammunition. Now to do, it still says small arms factory everywhere, in all cards, in the rules, everywhere, instead of small munitions factory, which is clearer and consistent with the radio code and the name of the heavy munitions factory. But Foxhole uses the small arms denomination for the user interface tab in the game, so I thought it would be more intuitive, but I think it is probably the time to let it go. We'll see. On day 6 at 1400 hours, Squad 1 visits the Den town base, that is DNDHQ, and makes an unwarranted request, which is another game mechanic. When you get to the town base, if you have orders, you can request and you can use the public stockpiles. But if you don't have a request, an order, you can still access the public stockpile, but you need to pass a check. And that check can go horribly wrong. So, with time running out, Squad 1 decides to make an unwarranted request of the public stockpiles, and they roll a 5 and a 4, which is not good. So they are assigned a -2 shaking condition, they get no bonuses, they get a reputation penalty of -3 at town base headquarters, which is bad. And Squad 4 gets a wounded condition for some reason. And now, as a note, this is bonkers. For starters, in an unwarranted request, which is to help you figure it out. If you're desperate, there's no way you can fulfill your mission in your current status because you're beaten up or anything. You can go to town base to beg for help. So in this kind of requests, the health modifiers applies inversely. The more battered you look, the higher chance the base commanding officers will help you. If you just show up at the town headquarters base all fresh up and say, hey, I'm gonna need some ammo, they will deny it, probably. But if you go with half your squad wounded and I need to do this and I don't have the ammo to do it, it is more likely the commanding officer will help you. Moreover, since it is an action made by the officer personally, the rank bonus applies. Being the squad leader, being a lance corporal, he should have gotten a +1 for his level 1 command. So that would have been a result of 8. instead of 5. Because the squad 4 was shaking, and it took that as a penalty. It should have been a bonus, and the CM forgot to add a +1 for the rank. So a result of 8 should have meant that access to level 1 structures on the town. Probably that would mean a casualty replacement for squad 3, the squad 3 that is wounded. And secondly, you don't get wounded by talking to a commanding officer. I think that was a tool task, shaken result on an already shaking squaddy. Who knows? The squaddy 1 has been seriously wronged here. They should have gotten a replacement, and they got bad reputation and a wounded squaddy. Anyways, squaddy 2 drives to Lamplight. They make a fuel check of 6 and drop the, which is okay, and drops the 1270mm ammo at the field guns garage. This ammunition is part of the components needed to build, to acquire this field guns pushgun. So they're going for the basic pushgun. And day 6 at 1700 hours, squad 1 drives to Lamplight field guns garage. They make a fuel check. They pass the fuel check at the 6. And squad 2 drives to the then salvage field and make a fuel check and pass it with a 2. So at day 6 at 2000 hours, the CM allows squad 1 to cash in their local builder perk plus the 1270mm ammo to get a basic pushgun. Basically, the squads are giving out their perks, their builder perks, for a crate of refined materials. As I learned, this was something that was mentioned during play, so players are taking up the campaign master on their word to give them a pushgun if they provide the ammunition. But they lose their basic, their builder perks. So it's something as the campaign master can apply on your judgment. These are all resources the player have: reputation, builder perks. These are things they allow you to play with to help players out of some situations, or to hinder them or make an obstacle of them. So squad 2 gathers salvage at the den salvage field. They make a salvage field card check. They roll a 20, natural 20. On squaddy 2, they would get a +1 for the trailer and +3 for the reputation, for a total of 24, but the important thing is they roll a natural 20. Note, there was no nighttime penalty applied because it is already 2000 hours. Never mind, they roll a 24, which is good enough. And a natural 20 is important. Why? Because they don't only gather salvage. They get a load of salvage on their inventory. They get rare metals. Rare metals are quite an element. You only get them when you roll a natural 20, so they are not common. Rare metals are technology resources that help boost your site's technological advance, so they are important. Since they have local reputation, the then salvage field site handler, which is a corpora, generously, in air quotes, offers squad 2 to exchange them, the rare metals, for a crate of shovels, a crate of sledgehammers, and filling up the fuel tank on their truck. This is actually a generous offer if you are planning to build a logistics squad, because shovels and sledgehammers give you positive modifiers. Those are tools that give you positive modifiers on scrapping and transferring resources. So it is indeed a generous offer. But Squad 2 doesn't have to deal with the hassle of finding out what to do with those metals. They don't have much time. They are new. They don't know what to do with these metals. And Squad 2 is inexperienced, but hesitates to give out the metals, so decides to decline the offer. He wants to find out, are these rare metals really valuable? The generous offer took him by surprise. He didn't trust the campaign master. He decided to keep those. So at day 6, on 2300 hours, the squad 1 long rests at the lamplight field guns. They were there getting their field gun, the basic push gun. He makes a garrison check of 1 and 5, which is an awful roll again. And Squaddy 5 has awful nightmares and gets a shaking condition, meaning he got a health penalty resting. So having a bad check, it's bad. So instead of resting, they get a shaking condition. And Squad 2 decides to take a long rest with the good pals at the salvage field at the den. He didn't see it coming. He makes a garrison checks on 14 and 1, and they have a -3 reputation now. As a note, the CM, the campaign manager, computed local reputation as bad, as we will see. So no +2 garrison skill modifier, +3 garrison skill modifier for the squad leader. I mean, the check succeeded, but the squad leader didn't get a bonus. He already has a bonus, so maybe it didn't apply. I don't know. Anyway, on this cliffhanger, we leave day 6. Now, the last day 7 of this first chapter of the campaign is pretty eventful. And it starts at 200 hours. Squad 1 is long resting. It receives no health bonuses because it failed the check. The CM, the campaign master, calls for a sentry check from Squad 2, that is skill 4.0. A sentry check. Squad 2 rolls a 2 on the D20 and a 4 on the D6. Task is not completed, of course, with the 2. And Squaddy 4 gets a shaking condition, meaning Squaddy 4 was standing guard and gets knocked unconscious, and the rare metals are stolen from Squad 2. That was quite a shake-up. Day 7, 500 hours. Squad 1, with a battered squad, decides to tow the pushgun, the basic pushgun they acquired, to their truck and just drive to Cattail Station and get this order over with. But Squad 2 faces the then salvage field site handler to get their rares back. The handler, of course, denies all accusations, but the bad local reputation is now evident. There is no goodbyes with these guys. The campaign master asks the squad leader, the player, if a squad brawl will ensue, which is quite an event that happens in the game, squads brawl. They sometimes decide their disagreements with a fist fight. But Squad 2 retreats, steps back, and rolls a d6 as a penalty, as a punishment, I believe, from the CM. So Squad 3 gets a shaken condition. Now, on a tangent on health conditions, they don't always mean your guys are wounded or hurt. They also represent psychological conditions or trauma. In this case, I'm guessing fear, and the disappointment of being robbed of your materials from another squad of your side. Anyway, day 7, 800 hours. Squad 1, short rests, waiting for Squad 2 to show up at Catalina Station. Squad 2 visits the then medical factory because they got an injured guy. That is DNMEF in radio code. The campaign master asks for a role on the site handler stands. They don't have basic materials to acquire anything, so they're just talking to the site handler. So the campaign master asks for a role on the site handler stance, which is a table on the game manual. And Squad 2 rolls an 11, meaning the commanding officer is a local villain. But since Squad 1 of the same force has bad reputation at the then town base, for the unwarranted request, Squad 2 is welcomed at the sites. How is that? When he rolls an 11, meaning the commanding officer is a local villain, the rule says that the visiting squad reputation modifier at the site and the visiting squad reputation at the local town base and bunker base is directly inversed. So if they have a bad reputation at the local town base, they get a good reputation in the site. And if they have a good reputation with the area commander, they get a bad reputation with these guys. Is the local villain. So since they got a bad reputation at the den for the unwarranted request, these guys welcome them as their allies. And they get a free use of a medikit, not really a medikit, a trauma kit, because Squad 3 that is wounded gets healed to a shaking condition. So he gets from -4 to -2 penalty on his health. The medical trauma kit skill check, I presume, was passed. It doesn't say so in the report, but Squad 2 tells the site handler about the stolen rares, the rare materials, which is a questionable decision, but the player decides to do it. And the site handler, in his best mafia boss tones, offers to buy the ownership of the rare, which the Squad 2 doesn't have. I mean, they lost the rares. They got stolen from them. But the mafia boss says, hey, don't worry about it. As the handler seems to know how to get them back. And he offers to buy this ownership of these stolen rares in exchange for 1 crate of trauma kits, as a token of good faith. So the squad leader agrees. On day 7, at 1100 hours, Squad 1 explores around Cattail Station. They didn't explore Cattail Station fully. Squad 1 notes all active sites at Cattail Station. They see the seaport, a heavy arms factory, a trucks garage, an oil refinery, plus Lanchos factory, which makes bazookas and RPGs, basically. Launchers factory, the shipyards, there are a lot of shipyards near the seaport, and some kind of small assembly station in construction. Just walking around, there are no fuel check needed, and Squad 2 drives from the den to Lamplight. They make a fuel check, they roll a 1, so their fuel tank is now at a third of its capacity. Again, they forgot to use the diesel can ability from the truck. Never mind. Day 7 and 400 hours, Squad 1 visits the launcher factory, CTS LAF in radio, which is in construction, learns that building infantry kits factory, as opposed to world structure, infantry kit factories require construction materials, or CMATs. And you can get those mats in the materials factory refinery they saw at the den. It was another kind of factory. They didn't know what to make of it. They know now that with salvage you can also get construction materials and use those construction materials to build these infantry kit factories. So they are learning all these things. Players were not familiar with Foxhole and all the intricacies of the Foxhole production. So this game also serves as a kind of tutorial of the very complex economic system of the game. Squad 1 feels the squad is too weak to get involved in a new building project. Besides, Squad 2 is almost there, so they don't get involved. Squad 2 drives to Cattail Station. They make a fuel check. They roll a 1, so the fuel tank is empty. Squad 2 gets to Cattail Station tank headquarters with the last fumes. Again, they forgot to use the diesel gun abilities. Logistics trucks are supposed to have more range than this. Anyways, on day 7, 1700 hours, the last turn of this first chapter, Squad 1 reports to the regional commander at Cattail Station tank headquarters. The commanding officer, the field marshal, if you remember, inspects the squad's equipment and status. Squad 2 was just taking a short rest at the moment. It shouldn't have. Yeah, but the commanding officer is impressed by them having a swallowtail pushgun, the basic pushgun, which is basic in terms of pushguns, but having a pushgun in this first chapter is quite an accomplishment. So the CO gets them the order as completed, and Squad Leader 1 gets promoted to Corporal, meaning he's now level 2. Both squad leaders get a public use request from the town base to replenish their stocks. Squad 1 chooses a provisional garrison to replace Squad 3, which is shaken and wounded and has a -4 build skill. And he swaps this squad for a new private, level 0, with no modifiers. And Squad 2 uses the seaport to rearm and resupply all their equipment, which is basically refueling their truck. Not great, but really necessary. The commanding officer tells the squad to report to the large train station at Cattail Station for a new assignment. It is time for them to see some action. Well, this is the end of chapter 1, Gear Up. Now we have both squads equipped and ready to deal with some combat, some rebels. Easy combat. They are very well equipped with this pushgun, not so much with handguns, but they will really make an impression on the rebels if they show up with this pushgun. In any case, they have learned where the facilities are in the region. They have learned to gather salvage, to turn this salvage into materials, to spend those materials in these infantry factories, how to build, how to interact with the town bases, with the site handlers. They know weird things happened with these rare materials, with this mafia boss. So they are exploring. It is a good tutorial chapter. It is necessary, even if you know about Foxhole, to get a handle on the side mechanics and the dynamic. So I'll leave a link on the description where you can download the PDF with this after action report, and of course invite you all to join the Discord server of the design diary, which has daily updates on the advance of this project. And I hope you see you soon. Thank you.